All right, greetings from the Charter School Office. I'm Albert Bertram, the Finance Specialist for the Charter School Office. So before I get into this audit review, I'm going to go to here and here. I had to go pull the audit from the state's website because it's still not been turned into us, so I thought I would bring that up. You can see over here that the compliance requirement is unsatisfied still, and it was due in November 15th. So I do have your audit, but I had to go get it by other means. So I just thought I would bring that up. So first, this is a review sheet that takes your large audit and tries to summarize it in 4 pages. We use this in our office for renewal and just to look at all the schools financially. So it's a good communication between myself and others in the office. So we're hoping to expand that out to include the board members and anyone at the school that's interested in having it. So we use this for renewal. So if there's anything on here that you have a question about or you think needs to be changed, let us know. Or if there's something you think should be added, let us know. So that's kind of the introduction. So first of all, I tried to label everything so it's easy to follow. Statement of net position. If we look over on the audit, page 18 of the PDF, you'll see the statement of net position is right here, the title. I've kind of broken down these assets into current and long-term liability or assets. So that's something to differentiate these numbers a little bit, but the total assets should be the same. So 67,01098 should match up with this right here. So that's where these numbers come from. The ending net position is for the current year, then previous was the previous year. So this is good to compare from year to year. So the Arts and Technology Academy of Pontiac, which we call ATAP, declined slightly in that position. Okay, so moving on, we'll move on to the balance sheet here. On the audit, it would be 2 pages past the statement of net position, 2. Okay, so when we're looking at these, we look at just the general fund. So it's these numbers here, not the totals over here. We do look at all these other stuff, but it's not on this sheet. We try to track just the general fund for the purposes of this sheet. So we have these numbers, which cash, accounts receivables are pretty standard, and then the fund balance classifications down here. So if we go back to our sheet, here's the cash and those classifications, and then here's the unassigned, assigned, committed, restricted, and non-spendable. So this ATAP only has these 2, so we have unassigned and non-spendable. I put these little hover over explanations to kind of explain what they are. Non-spendable are amounts that cannot be spent because they're either in non-spendable form or legally or contractually required to remain intact. So usually this is equated to prepaids, which it is here, 7043, because you can't spend what you've already spent. So there's none of these other ones, so I won't get into those ones. I'll leave it basically hovered over for a second so you can pause the video and look at them if you need to, but this information is in the audit. So unassigned fund balance is amounts that are available for any purpose. These amounts are reported only in the general fund. So this means that there's a negative unassigned fund balance. So ATAP actually has a low fund balance right now, and so we'll get into that when we get down to enrollment, what's going on. But I'm sure everyone's aware, but this is for the charter school office as well. So moving up, we have this beginning fund balance, revenues, expenditures. This kind of shows a brief summary of what happened during the year without all the detail. It's just a quick snapshot look. So you'll notice that the school went from 330,000 fund balance down to only 4,000. Now when I said enrollment, we're going to show that the school's grown quite a bit, so it's important for us to look at that and know what's going on. Right here we just have some calculations. General fund divided by revenues, that's only 0.1%. So that just takes the ending general fund, divides by the revenues. This one takes the ending general fund minus restricted, if there was restricted down here, and then divides by revenues. And this one's pretty similar too, just general fund divided by expenditures, then ending general fund divided by beginning general fund to see what the percent of the difference between the two is. And this one's significantly lower, which is why this is only 1.145. So moving down, this section with these 4 things kind of summarizes the written stuff from page 4. So the notes payable is usually associated with state aid notes. Long-term debt is usually associated with bonds. And if there is an operating or capital lease listed on the audit, that's usually what that is. Some schools will have their building finance with long-term debt bonds. Some just use it as a lease. So that's kind of what these are, and that's why this one's blank. So the management company fees are listed right here, and this is just a percentage of state aid. Just literally takes the management fee and then divides it by the total state aid down here. So that's where that comes from. Earned per fall 2013 takes the management fees and then divides it by the fall count for 2013, which is the fall count corresponding with this fiscal year. So we have our square footage. If that's incorrect, please let us know. And from that square footage, we have revenues per square foot, expenses per square foot, which just takes the expenditures total down here and then does a calculation with it basically. So, sorry, it went up too high. So, payment per square foot is one that I've gotten a lot of questions about. For this, for ATAP, I took the principal and interest payments for the current year and then divided it by the square footage to try to give a payment per square foot comparison to other schools that did bonding and that type of thing. So that's what that is derived from, and I put an explanation for that on page 4. So if there's any questions, feel free to ask. Moving right along. Oh, and then this is just a square foot per fall count, again with the students, and then operations and maintenance per fall count. So operations and maintenance is down here, right there. So that's just a comparison, another comparison. So this percentage comparison compares the 2013 actual to the 2014 actual, and then the difference. So it's just a way of comparing year to year, and then the total. These fund balance amounts should match up to the little one up in the upper little right hand corner on page 1. So that's where that is. Now these numbers are accounting numbers used to code. I get questions on that sometimes from some board members. So I took the accounting manual, put it into a Word document, and then if you ever have a question, you can just search through this thing really fast, and then you can find, like I put operations and maintenance here as an example, and then you just come through and you can see explanations about it, and then see the coding. So all the support services start with a 2, and then it's the corresponding numbers differentiate what is actually coded with that. So that's that. This compares the budget. This is the original budget. I put on here that it's due July 1, so that everyone in the office and everyone who watches this will know that there's sometimes a big difference between the original budget and the final budget, because there's a lot more information available made throughout the year that wasn't available at July 1, though it's legally required to have one. And then this compares the actual to the final. So that's that. This takes the instruction up above in the breakdown, and then where's that, right here, instruction, and then revenues, and that compares those as a percentage, and then we did that for the previous 2 years, and then ATAP's been trending upward, which is a good thing, especially since the enrollment issue. So this is just revenues divided by fall 2013, again, just basic calculations for whomever wants them. Here's where we get to the enrollment. When I said the enrollment issue, I shouldn't have said issue. I should have just said increase, but basically the enrollment has shot up in recent time, which is good. But so you see a 29% increase, 14% increase, and then here's the numbers. Here's the graphical display for those who like the graphical display. The revenues don't always. The revenues have to catch up with students. We know that, but we're paying attention to the situation, but we know what's going on. So that's something to point out. These numbers are all from CEPI, except for the very last one is the unaudited count number that I received through Epicenter. So if that's a little different from what you think after you got it audited, that's what's going on with that number. So these are the free and reduced lunch counts from CEPI as well, and then these are just the percentage of the corresponding fall count. And again, I have another graphical display for those who are visual people. Down here, I won't get into the detail, but this is just the explanation that explains all that stuff on page 1, that 4 things at the bottom. and then any other thing that comes up. This is the management company section, so everything about the management company's in there. This is all debt, and then there was no findings, which is good. And then this explains the calculation, that square footage calculation on page 1. It's been reviewed by a second person, and here's my contact information. So if you have any information, feel free to ask. Thanks for your time, and thanks for all you do for the children of Michigan. Have a good one, take care, and stay warm. Bye.